So we bring on up the first pairing. Nothing on file for this car. It might be one of the Tippies, I believe. Martin Rochelle races alongside him in the 1978 Malibu. Rochelle usually running the NHRA Super Street Index on weekends, where we run the Lorca Auto Parts Super Combo, but this afternoon that car can go 10:08 at $129. His opponent, 10:49 at $125. Bring up Colton Morin, graduated from the Junior Lightning category started last year and had his first full season with the Dragster. Raced for big points in the Beast Mechanical Sunset Showdown series. And in the Just Mechanical Sunset Showdown series, he unfortunately came home second. It was a tough loss for him at the end of that season. I believe this is the first season he is running full-time in Super Pro. And he is looking to make a statement that he is back with a vengeance. He finished 12th in the points last season, made his first official debut on June 14th. He races against Jan Christensen, the driver that came home number 9 in the points last season with the 1978 Camaro Z28. 014 and 035 red on the tree. Colton Morin goes 796, 164 miles an hour. Christensen 1060 at 117. And that brings up Rob Monroe Sr., running a white knuckle racing 1931 Ford Model A out of Langley, racing against Mark Muscat for Lorca Auto Parts with a 1977 406 cubic inch small block Chevy motor out of Vernon on the far side. Goes 897, 151 miles an hour. Muscat 1059 at 129. Next pairing, we got Lorenz Schwartz. We got Andy Hatton. Titanium Auto Group and Bubba Speed Shop being represented on the 1983 Monte Carlo over here to our side. While it's Bubba Speed Shop, Titanium Auto Group, Taves Roofing, and Velocity Chemicals represented on the Grinch, with a 584 big block Chevy motor in the Camaro on the far side. Captain Often runs in the door slammers as well. He went 011 on the tree and goes 830 out of $160, while Lorenz Schwartz goes 1003 at 133. You want to talk about door slammer names? How about this one over here? Brian Ritchie, running the Ritchie Racing Engines and Greenlight Auto Sales 1968 Chevelle. He'll face off against John Jenkins for the West Coast Building Restorations, Mackenzie Racing and Bubba Speed Shop 1988 Chevy S10. Jenkins 1034 at $124. And this is the big dog, defending champion Kevin McNichol. well as winning in the 2024 Lightning Loafers Old Time Drags, as well as the 2024 Street Outlaws champion at the track with his 434 cubic inch small block Chevy 67 Nova, racing against Mike Stewart with the Bucky's Mini Excavating, Ken Specialty Auto, Gibson Racing Transmissions, and Big AJ Motorsport 67 Chevy 2. The Super Chiclet down track with the 006 light goes 10:04, 130 miles an hour. McNichol, the defending champ, goes 10:08 at 133. And another pair, Chris Stone, Jim Benke. Dodge Dart versus Plymouth Barracuda. .04, 130 miles an hour. Banky goes 10:08 at 131. That'll bring up another dragster. And in fact, another door slammer. Paul Soares brings up the 95 Pontiac over here tower side. Jeremy Soares, the number 8 finisher in the points last season, will bring up the Cameron dragster for Soares Transport and Quick Tech race cars out of Terrace. In fact, both races out of Terrace. Now, this could go either way. Those door slammers do not slouch off the line, but the dragster's got some good top end charge to it. Should be a good grudge match here, just like the Fox Body duo in the water box. Outruns him 735, 180 miles an hour. Soares goes 809 at 167. And a pair of Fox Bodies, sibling rivalry as well. The Gibson family going to war against one another. One Mustang from 91, the other from 88. One sporting 289 cubic inches tower side. The Lorco side 427, so a lot more power being boasted on the far side. And that grudge match goes the way of Justin Gibson, 963 at 139 miles an hour. Jason Gibson, 978 at 136. Bring up John DeBag once again for the Rad Torque Systems Titanium Auto Group S10. He'll face off against one of the drags is over there on the far side. Tobacco will race against Emily Gerard for the Sheer Solution Just Mechanical Titanium Auto Group 2001 Undercover Dragster. Sporting a 582 cubic inch Sunset motor. Goes 756, 175 miles an hour. John DeBack going 1044 at 126. And that'll bring up another pair of cars that usually runs in the Oracle Auto Parts Super Combo Series. That is Brad Vinci for the BNC Racing 68 Camaro racing Warren Jacobson with the 67 Chevy 2. Both these cars on a typical Super Combo race will usually run the NHRA 1090 Super Street Index with throttle stops in play. Curious if it'll be the same thing here, or if, like Martin Rochelle, the turning stops off so the cars can do. No throttle stops in play for both competitors, so they're gunning for that 1090 index. Doing a solid when it gets to eliminations. Vinci goes 1057 at 147. Jacobson 1083 at 137. So some fine tuning still needed on the throttle stop portion of things, or on the brake side of things, one of the two. Craig Johnson and Nick Angelucci, the next two up. BC Scale Johnson's Customs exhaust running in the Malibu wagon against Angelucci's regular Malibu. Jeez, it actually genuinely might be time to invest in a wheelie bar for the Malibu wagon. Holy cow. 1060 at 120 miles an hour. Nick Angelucci goes 1144 at $120. And nothing on file for this car, but this will be the last one in Rat Torque Systems Super Pro. John Jenkins goes 004 to the good. Top end goes 984, 135 miles an hour. Jenkins 1035 at 125. Bring up Jan Christensen running a 1978 Chevy Camaro Z28. Going up against Brad Vinci for the BNC Racing 68 Camaro that plans to run the Super Street Index. Both cars on a tear to the top end of the racetrack. Christensen goes 1059, 126 miles an hour. Vinci goes 1054 at $147. Bring on Martin Rochelle. The 78 Malibu is sporting a bit of a different look, scrapping a lot of the NHRA contingency stickers he had on that thing, as well as putting it looking like a new coat of paint on that thing. Racing Daryl Tipping. Rochelle goes 1007, 129 miles an hour. Daryl Tippy goes 1049 at 125. The next pairing up, Andy Hatton, Colton Morin. Door Slammer versus Dragster. Andy Hatton running Bubba Speed Shop, Titanium Auto Group, Taves Roofing and Velocity Chemicals on that 1969 584 big block Chevy Camaro, dubbed the Grinch. While the Moore Motorsports Race Tech Dragster sports 615 cubic inches of big block Chevy motor on the far side. Bit of a staging burn down there as either driver wanted to bump in first, happened to end up being the one to bite. Morton gets out in front, 014 to an 016 red light. Morton goes 799, 164 miles an hour. Hamilton goes 831 at 160. That brings up the Super Chicklet, headed up by Mike Stewart for Bucky's Mini Excavating, Ken Specialty Auto, Gibson Race Transmissions, and Big Al Motorsports. Racing the BC Scale, Johnson's Customs Exhaust, Malibu Wagon on the far side. This car has been carrying the front wheels. It struck the rear bumper once. We'll see if it'll do it again. That time, but not far from it. 014 to an 011 on the train. Mike Stewart goes 1003, 131 miles an hour. Craig Johnson 1056 at 120. Attention in the pits, attention in the pits. Old Car Center, Hot Rod. We need you in lanes 1 and 2. Hot Rod to lanes 1 and 2, and stand by for license and test. Once again, that is stand by for license and test. Up with John Tabak and Aiden Katnick. The Radtor Systems and Titanium Auto Group S10 faces off against the Lorco Auto Parts and TK Performance Mustang. John DeBack goes 1047, 126. Katnick pops the laundry, goes 888 at 152. Next pairing, Kevin McNichol, Warren Jacobson. Nova versus Chevy 2, both from 1967. Top end goes 1009, 131 miles an hour. Warren Jacobson goes 1085 at 137. And that'll bring up Brian Ritchie. Ritchie running the Ritchie Racing Engines and Greenlight Auto Sales Chevelle, frequently a runner in the Winter Harbor Marina and RV Canada West Door Slammer Series. This time he races Lorenz Schwartz for the Titanium Auto Group and Bubba Speed Shop 1983 Monte Carlo. Top end of the racetrack, 781, 172 miles an hour for Ritchie. Schwartz, 1004, 133. And that brings up Justin Gibson and Jason Gibson. Pair of Mustang Fox bodies, one from 88, one from 91. Bit of wheel spin off the hitch there on that one. Next up, it's Rob Monroe Sr. and Jeremy Soares. 1931 Model A facing off against a much more modern Cameron dragster. Jeremy Soares goes 735, 180 miles an hour. Rob Monroe, 869 at 154. And next up, it's Emily Gerard and Nick Angelucci. Shear Solutions, Just Mechanical and Titanium Auto Group sponsoring the 2001 Undercover Dragster. Well, Angelucci will sport his own colors in the 78 Malibu. Top end, 753, 176 miles an hour. Angelucci, 1107 at 122. That brings up Jim Banky and Chris Stone. Battle launch this time from Banky. He'll go down track. Goes 10:06, 131. Stone 10:04 at 130. Bunch going to be Paul Soares and Mark Muscat, 1995 Pontiac going up against the North Carolina Parts 1977 Chevy for the 406 cubic inch small block Chevy motor on the far side. Soares goes 8:06, 168 miles an hour. Muscat 10:56 at 129. Mark Muscat will be the first one up. Alongside Mark Rochelle, the Lordco Auto Parts Chevrolet will dial in at 10:55 to the 78 Malibu's 10:09. efficient times, and Muscat gonna take out Rochelle. Heavy hitter dusted there as Mark Muscat moves on to round 2. Attention in the pits, attention in the pits. Old Car Center Hot Rod to the lanes. Old Car Center Hot Rod to the lanes. Standby for license and test. License and test, this is your standby call. Andy Hatton will bring up the Grinch for Bubba Speed Shop. Titanium Auto Group, Taves Roofing, and Velocity Chemicals. Dials in the 69 Camaro at 829. To John Jenkins is 1035. Oh, it's Trip Zip Red for John Jenkins. Trip Zip with a 6. He'll throw it away. Andy Hatton lifts out. Not going to push the car. Lucky break for the Grinch. Bring up Kevin McNichol. Dials in 1011. John DeBack. Rack Torch Systems Titanium Auto Group S10 dials in 1049. Red light start for John DeBack. Kevin McNichol going to move on into the next round as DeBack. Tough break for the S10. Next one up, it's Colton Morin. Red light start for Colton Morin's competitor, and that will see Morin through in round number 2. Good start there for Colton Morin. Goes 007 and follows up with AO2 on the 797. Mike Stewart, meanwhile, takes the Bucky's Mini Excavating, Ken Specialty Auto, Gibson Racing Transmissions, and Big Al Motorsports Chevy 2. Dials in at 10:03. Will leave first to Jeremy Soares for the Soares Transport Quick Tech Race Cars 2001 Cameron Dragster, which dials in at 7:35. Takes out the dragster, 0.03 of a second. Will take Mike Stewart to the next round. Next up, it's Justin Gibson and Aiden Katnick. 964 to an 889. 2 green lights. Justin Gibson working a 005 light in the back pocket. Oh, Katnick! Katnick got there first by 15 thou, but breaks out by 6. Justin Gibson moves into round number 2. That'll bring up Chris Stone and Daryl Tippy. The Willowbrook Motors Dodge Dart, dials in 1005 to the Chevy 2 of Daryl Tippy, dials in 1053. Tippy turns on the red light. Bristow moves on. Attention to the pits, attention to the pits. License and test to lanes 5 and 6. License and test, come on up lanes 5 and 6. License and test to 5 and 6. Loren Schwartz moving the Titanium Auto Group Bubba Speed Shop Monte Carlo forward, 1005 to the door slammer alongside him. Brian Rich, of course, run to the Rich Racing Engines Greenlight Auto Sales Chevelle to dial in at 781. Attention to the pits, attention to the pits. Juniors, this is your standby call. Juniors, this is your standby call. An absolute final call for Old Car Center Hot Rod. Hot Rod, this is your final call to the lanes. Schwartz takes out Brian Ritchie by 11th thou, and the door slammer is sent packing. Now, will it be the same story for another? We've seen one Gibson go down. Here's the other one. Jason Gibson brings up the 9-1 Mustang Fox body, dials in 978. Paul Soares will be running his 95 Pontiac, dials in at 808. Gives it up. Paul Soares lifts. Paul Soares takes it. Jason Gibson lost that race on the starting line when he absolutely smoked the tires off of that Mustang Fox body. That's a big shame. He had a 007 line. Would have been a good run. Meanwhile, Emily Gerard will bring out the Shear Solutions Just Mechanical on Titanium Auto Group Undercover Dragster to dial in 755. Rob Monroe Sr. dials in 859 for the White Knuckle Racing Ford Model A, and Monroe's going to have to hustle because he's also running in Hot Rod, which has just been called. Of the racetrack, it'll be Emily Gerard as Monroe turns in red by a quarter of a second. So Gerard will take a dragster in round 2. Warren Jacobson and Jim Benke, the next pairing up. Jacobson running the Chevy 2, dials in 1086, so a little bit of throttle stop assistance on that one. While Jim Benke dials in at 1014 for the Plymouth Barracuda. Warren Jacobson with the top end charge. Banky had a 007 line, but just lost it at the top end. 5 thou will see Warren Jacobson move on. Next up, Jan Christensen. Burnaby Chevy Camaro Z28 from 1978, 1060 to Brad Vinge's BNC Racing Camaro dialed in at 1056. And now a little bit of start line cleanup required from Banky's car, looks like. Once again, Hot Rod. Hot Rod, you are up momentarily. Hot Rod, where are you at? We need you down here. Hot Rod. Hot Rod, we're waiting for you. That tree. There is Craig Johnson. BC Scale Johnson's Customs Exhaust Malibu wagon to dial in at 1063 to race Nick Angelucci. And the 70 Malibu dials in at 1070. This is the last pair for Rad Torque Systems Super Pro. Another pair of red lights. This one will go the way of Craig Johnson as Angelucci goes 016 red, and Johnson 001 to the good.
Well, a shout out to Rad Torque Systems for bringing us the Super Pro class in 2024. First pair at the starting line. Now, lots of eyes will be focused on the right lane because Craig Johnson's over there in the black wagon. That thing likes doing wheel stands so far this year. So Johnson dialed 1060 in the wagon. McNichol dialed 1008 in the Nova. First pair, round 3 of Rad Torque Systems Super Pro. Four bulbs lit. 10 thou separated at the starting line. Finish line says Kevin McNichol is moving on. In a double breakout, McNichol. It was 1070 or 1007 with a 7 on the 1008. Craig Johnson 1058 with a 9 on the 1060. So Kevin McNichol will be coming back for round number 3. Got the updated ladder for Vancouver Car Wrap Sportsman. They're down to just 6 cars. Joel Smith and Nick Douglas going to duke it out for the bye into the final. Now Paul Storrs and Mike Stewart. Or Bucky, as you might know him. So just 3,000 separating the bye reaction time. This should be tight at the finish line. Bucky is moving on. 18 up front, dead 4 at the finish line, 22 totes. Hey, listen up in the pits. Listen up in the pits. Hot Rod. Hot Rod, this is your call to the staging lanes. We'll get Hot Rod to lanes 5 and 6, please. Hot Rod, this is your call to the staging lanes. We need Hot Rod to the lanes. Hot Rod, come on down to lanes 5 and 6. Next up, it's going to be Andy Hatton and Colton Morin. Colton, right-hand lane behind the wheel of the dragster. Dialed in at 797. Andy Hatton dialed 830. Above the Speed Shop Camaro. Finish line says Andy Hatton is coming back. 835 on the 830 dial, good enough. Taking 21 thou at the finish line. Hatton was 006 on the starting line. Nice job. Warren Jacobson coming up TCS side of the racetrack. 67 Chevy 2, dialed 1088. Warren making use of the throttle stop. He's going to look like he's on the gas, off the gas, back on the gas. Emily Gerard will be holding her foot flat to the floor in the dragster right-hand lane. She's dialed 759. Hang around for about 3 seconds. And she's off. Try and run Warren down. Is she going to get there? It's Warren. Moving on. 1091 on the 1080. Gets the job done. Had a 52,000 starting line advantage. Now Jan Christensen and Mark Mascant. Mascant out of Vernon. Behind the wheel, Chevy Monza, right lane, 1977. You don't see a ton of those around anymore. Christensen behind the wheel of Camaro, tower side. Just 3,000 separate them on the starting line. It is Christensen at the finish line. McSant getting there first by 23 thou, but in doing so, he's 13 thou under. Christensen comes up dead 7 on the 1060 dial, and he moves on. Loren Schwartz and Chris Stone now. Lorenz turns it red by 33. Stone, 23 up front, 1004 with a 1 on the 1006 dial. Chris Stone advances to round number 3. We finish off the second round of Super Pro with Justin Gibson on a bye run. 968 is the ET prediction. 007 up front. Why not? And 966 with a 3, all out on the 968 dial.
Jan Christensen going to race against Justin Gibson, the 78 Camaro Z28, going to be racing it against the 1988 Mustang Fox Body. 1060 to a 968. Gibson's in, Christensen in just behind. Both cars away on green lights. Gibson charging after Christensen. And at the quarter, Gibson going to take it as Christensen got there first, went under by 400ths though to do so. Move on up to Kevin McNichol and Chris Stone, 10:07 to a 10:04. And top end, Kevin McNichol. Moving on against Chris Stone. So Chris Stone now knocked out of 2 categories. Attention to pits, attention in the pits. License and test to lanes 5 and 6. License and test, bring them on to lanes 5 and 6. License and test to 5 and 6. Mike Stewart brings up the Super Chiclet. Once again, dials in 10:03 to Warren Jacobson's 10:91. Jacobson going to be moving on into the next round. And that will leave Andy Hatton with the bye run. So Andy Hatton going to do what we call breaking the beams. You don't need to make a full pull to be put on the ladder, you just need to get a reaction time. So Hatton going to do just that, breaks the beams. And then we'll back out, save the equipment for the semifinals.
We are moving on into our Super Pro semifinal, our Rad Torque System Super Pro semifinal. We got Justin Gibson, the new father, brand new baby, looking to take home a win for the new kid there. In the left lane, dialed in with a 972, and we got Kevin McNichol, our current Super Pro track champion, dialed in with a 1007 in the Lordco lane. We got a close race here off the tree. McNichol taking the win, going 10:07 on the 7. Gibson going to 73 on the 72. 017 on the tree. McNichol was 023. So who will join McNichol in the final? We got Warren Jacobson in the left lane, dialed in 1090. Andy Hatton in the Grinch in the right lane with an 830. Andy going a very odd 483 on the tree there. Warren, 021 on the tree. Warren taking the win, going 1099 on the 1090 dial. Rad Torque System Super Pro Final. You got Kevin McNichol in the Rad Torque System sponsored Chevy 2 in the left lane, dialed in with a 1006. And Warren Jacobson in the Lordco lane with a 1092. Warren just tickling that top ball. Pretty big starting line advantage for one of them here. And that was McNichol taking it and turning that into a win, going 10.07 on the 10.06. McNichol 0.56 on the tree. Warren with a 170 on the tree, going 10.91 with a 2 on the 10.92. So Kevin McNichol taking home the win, starting the season off strong, looking to repeat, go back-to-back as Super Pro champion. Taking home the win in our JBS Equipment ET Series race number 1. Rad Torque System Super Pro winner is Kevin McNichol.